What's good, people? We are the Blasian Circle, 3 married couples made up of 6 friends who share in the experience of being in Black and South Asian interracial marriages.
It's a circle of unity and trust where we share our thoughts and lived experiences. Come join our circle.
Alright. Yeah, you don't have to start.
Ooh, I love it.
Just...
Proper things.
Just me.
Hello, and welcome back. So, what are we doing today? So, this is what we're doing. Being the host, I should know this information. So, as I'm sure all you avid listeners out there have probably watched our part 1 around cultural differences. So we're going to continue that on part 2 because I feel like we didn't really cover everything that we kind of wanted to. So we spoke a lot about kind of like the serious aspects of cultural differences and I guess the impact and the tensions that they can kind of have within our relationship. So we thought, let's not move the kind of conversation on. And let's talk about the lighter side, like the funnier things. And they are funny. Hashtag Chickengate. I'm actually going to if somebody can get this trending, I'm going to take full ownership of this thing. That's what I need to do. But yeah, so going to move on to kind of like the lighter side of the cultural differences. So now that I've kind of said Chickengate, I'm going to direct it to the 2 people right in front of me. So Anna, do you want to share and get this thing trending?
Okay, so let's outline what Chickengate is.
Let's do that.
First and foremost.
And why is it a cultural difference?
Why is it a cultural difference? I don't know if I can. Maybe that's a group one.
Maybe.
But I think all of us, when we got married, or when we came across this issue.
Yeah. It's a universal issue as well, I have to say.
It's a universal issue. Yeah, it's not
issue.
just specific to Black and Asian couples, but I think it's quite prevalent. So we're referring to the preparation of chicken.
Very important discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
to lemon juice or not to lemon juice. To vinegar or not to vinegar.
And there's salt as well.
Salt. Is there salt as well?
Salt as well. And salt. Yeah,
salt.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I missed that step completely.
Yeah, it's a full process, guys.
You pre-prep with salt?
Yeah, so
is this one of those things, where if I talk too much, people are going to be like, yo, is this guy actually
one of
Black,
those.
bro?
Do you know, it's
take the risk.
It's a process, and there are a variety of options for the process.
Okay.
So some use lime, some use lemon, some use vinegar, some use and mix it. And the whole point is that the meat is clean.
Yeah.
Because like chicken from a butcher's or from a supermarket or wherever you're going to get it from has been through a process. For it to get to you.
Come on. 100%.
Yeah, and we don't know who's touched it, who's put it where. We need to ensure
I agree.
that the meat is clean.
I agree.
Okay. We understand. We all universally understand that meat needs to be cleaned.
We've seen some people.
Oh, really?
Well. Okay. Coming I don't know. We know that meat needs to be cleaned.
Okay.
I think that's. I would hope that's apparent. What I don't understand is that why it needs to go through this cleansing process. It's like some morning routine. You know that people go through for skincare. Yeah, this is like chicken.
Like that.
So
I'm not gonna lie. That's actually what it is.
Wait.
So
Hang on.
Yeah.
On that note, I need to know what's your process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. She said
I'm not gonna lie.
that it needs to be clean.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you mean?
Okay. So for me, I never cooked before I got married. Yeah. So.
Which is actually funny because she's an amazing.
Top tier.
I don't cook. So when suddenly I got married and then I had to cook chicken. Yeah. So for me, I think with the Asian process of cooking, because there's so much spices kind of involved, it kind of just infuses the chicken. So you don't really ever taste this, I don't know, chicken smell or taste or smell the smell. I don't know. So for me, going through the process of a vinegar or lemon or all of that was a bit I don't get it. You wash the chicken, you marinate the chicken, but this whole process of lemon and vinegar is completely alien to me. I mean, I do it now because clearly it causes great offense in my household if I don't. Yeah. So I do it now. I have been converted, but I honestly, I just don't get it.
But the process isn't just the lemon and all of that. It's getting into the crevices and getting out the particulars that are not necessary.
No, that's a bit extra, man.
No, so you said this is a full process. Like
it is,
like,
and you haven't even cooked the chicken.
No, because it's got to be like clean.
Wait,
like, this is the thing. Like guys, support me in the comments, please. Let's hear out the comments. We need to help them understand. Like this is just a part.
Look. We do it now, though. Yeah, we like Anna. You clean the chicken the way that a chicken needs to be cleaned.
Okay.
I mean,
by the way, so you guys can't see, I am on my phone at the moment because I'm on a website called sciencedirect.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm struggling with is it's actually so scientific. There are like pH levels in it. I'm going to come back to this. Okay. So it is an acid thing. But I'm already seeing the words ineffective.
Yeah.
As it relates to acidic acid.
Oh, really?
You taste the difference.
Washing raw poultry in a diluted lemon juice or vinegar solution is an inefficient method for removing pathogens and results in pathogens both in the wash water and on the chicken, increasing the risk for cross-contamination and potential foodborne illness.
Yeah,
okay.
This sounds like that was written by a Caucasian.
As soon as I finished, I knew exactly where you were going to go.
They don't subscribe to the process, but we all taste the difference.
I don't know. I don't taste the difference.
I don't taste the difference.
Yeah, I know.
I don't.
You know
I
what
don't.
one of my friends said to me? So, white woman, we're obviously myself, black man, having a conversation about this. We had the same chicken debate. And what she said, which I have to acknowledge, she was like, look, we learned how to prepare chicken from our parents. Yeah. Basically, or from our respective families. Yeah. So whatever you learn is right to you. And whatever I learn is right to me, purely because you basically learn it from someone you respect as an elder. That's basically it.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
That is.
I
don't agree with that at all. What? So just because something's passed down, you can say that about anything.
No,
racism is passed down. Oh yeah, what's right because my mum told me.
No, but the point is, obviously it's dumb. But the point is, we get. There's a passion behind it, not for any logical reason.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Like even after we've read that, like there's a part of me that's like, this must be wrong.
Yeah.
That's not coming from logic. That's
so
when my mum taught me how to do lemon juice or salt.
So coming back to us now. Okay. So I, like you, I wash chicken thoroughly.
Yes.
But with water.
Yes.
So you rinse chicken, you mean?
No, like you take the guts and stuff like that out.
Yeah, 100%. All of that I'll do. All of that I'll do. Okay. And by the way, I'm very particular about chicken anyway. So I mostly eat breast, chicken breast.
Gotcha.
So I will even forfeit taste because I'm that particular about chicken.
Yeah. That's the worst bit.
That's dry.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I don't. But for me, it's like more. I don't know. I'm just really funny about chicken.
Yeah. Like, so you don't like it on the bone?
I don't like dark meat and all. I
okay.
like bone, but not dark meat, all that stuff. I like chicken strips.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, since we've gotten married.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Sorry. It's my dad, innit? Daddy.
I think we just leave it.
No. Pause.
He will be reprimanded. Reprimanded.
Sorry, could you not put it in airplane?
Sorry. Airplane mode. Sorry, I got to stop singing that. Sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy from Ghana.
Let's go. This part probably will be edited. What, carry on?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, go on.
So since we've gotten married, we have this huge bottle of lemon juice by the sink, and we always. So I've followed that, as you said, to avoid. And in fairness, I will say this though, it does feel slightly different. But the reason why is because so you have things like fish ceviche, which is effectively cooked in citric juice. So there is a concept, but for me, my argument is, well, all you're doing is you're starting to cook the chicken. That's all that's happening, but it's going to be cooked anyway. So that's my thing. But on one of the points that was here as well is about cross contamination, because I'm really big on this. Sometimes I even wear gloves when I'm marinating chicken. DJ. My wonderful husband, who usually can do no wrong,
sweetness,
will marinate all the like the bowls he's marinated the chicken in. He'll just leave it in the sink, and I'm so big on that. Like for me, it's like it has to be. It's like toxic products in the sink. It has to get like we need to get rid of it straight away. But you don't have that concept.
Well, I do, but it's like anything else. It's like anything other thing that's like. like, oh no, that we should get. I mean, it will get washed eventually. It's just I'm just putting it.
Yeah, I know,
but for the time being.
This ain't a culture issue. I ain't gonna lie.
So Riz, I'm interested to know about you. So I mean, I know you don't eat very much chicken, or you pretend to not eat very much chicken, or whatever. Like that's a separate conversation. How do you wash your chicken?
I think the first thing I'll do is obviously take the skin off.
Yeah.
But essentially, I'll just put the lemon, put it under water, give it a good rinse. If there's any blood,
do you have an issue with lemon chicken?
I think you need to clean it with lemon.
But before you met Si, did you used to do that?
I see. This is it. It's weird.
Actually,
we've been together
for so long.
we've been together for
That's
so
true.
long.
That's true.
And not only that,
Yeah.
sorry, I initially taught you how to cook. Initially,
Really?
So
yeah,
it's a
I
part
did.
of the process.
You didn't cook. Remember. Remember. Everyone knows our story from last week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks ago. What was I going to say? You didn't cook before we were together.
No, I didn't as much.
Yeah.
But I think for me, food is always provided. I had my mum that would cook the food. So when I went to university, I experimented.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would use lemon to
So
clean it.
did your mum use lemon juice as well? Then when she perhaps
She would not let me be in the kitchen, so I don't know if she did.
I think what's interesting with you two is that because you've known each other for such a long time, your transition is you kind of just adapted to one another's. Whereas me and Anna have come in slightly later, and
we have
the whole issue of chicken is a
late
little
comers.
bit.
Me and Riz are like just one person.
Yeah, very much so.
If I didn't have a beard.
Well, that was. So I don't think we really reached a consensus, other than the fact that we just kind of followed.
I think the consensus is that there is a difference, but marriage rules.
Yeah,
and I think you do what you have to do.
Peace in your home.
Yeah.
Peace in your home. Wash your chicken with lemon, guys.
Definitely.
Standard.
For peace.
Standard. Standard.
Okay. Cool. So. That was funny. I enjoyed that. Right. So what other? So that I guess that was quite a light one. What about the positives? Si.
Oh, me first. I think what's quite interesting about both of our cultures, the South Asian culture and the Black African diaspora cultures, is that education. Particularly, and this is nothing said against Caribbean culture at all in any way, but particularly African and South Asian cultures are very religion and education orientated. Like it's such a important element which is held in very high esteem. You have to go to uni. To go and do this. Minimum. Yeah, exactly. You have to go on.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, DJ, yeah.
How much of that do you think is, and I could be wrong, but I'm just throwing it out there really, how much of that is about being immigrants versus being, so like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, because there's this whole thing of
Pakistan
wanting to be better and come where you come from, so you have to do that.
Yeah, education is the key to make it in another country kind of thing.
I think it probably, for me, I think it has a contributing factor, but I do think there is this thing within the Asian community, that's all I can speak for, is that the minimum requirement is a degree. I remember when I was like 20, I think I came to mum and dad, I was like, listen, this degree thing is not for me. It's just not for me. I mean, that was not really, that was the shortest conversation I've had. Really like, what?
Well, yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, take care.
Sorry to cut you off. Sorry.
No worries. But I think even on the and to be fair, I think I can include the Caribbean community as well. And that's, again, I'm not saying Caribbean community does not care about education. They really do. But like religion, for instance, as well, it's very, very important. Like amongst the South Asian and again, as I say, African diaspora community as well, is something that is so important. Like, and I guess that's partially why there can be, again, even though I'm meant to be focusing on the positive, there can be contention between the two cultures in itself when they come together, because if the African community is holding dear to their particular culture or way of religion, in a sense, because you can find a Muslim. There's a lot of in West Africa. There's a lot of a huge Muslim community as well. But they may consider one way that they do Islam as opposed to a different way that South Asian Muslim would do Islam as well. I think I do think how important those things, value systems, and how they create our value systems. I think that is something that is really positive in both of our cultures that we do share.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think they are. I don't know. I think they're like a core to some degree, 100%. Like that kind of like anchor you into. This is kind of like where you're gonna station, kind of like I guess where you're going to be anchored, really. But yeah, I would definitely say that's a real, because I think then you can understand, can't you? And you come from a very similar basis. What about you, Riz? What's been the positive side of this cultural integration?
I was going to say, actually, funny enough, still speaking about food, is having jollof rice and plantain.
Cheese!
Sai doesn't, because it's almost lunchtime. Sai actually doesn't make jollof, so I don't get to have much of that, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I think what's really nice is with the similarities, there's things that you can identify yourselves with. So even like having children in the future, because we're very strong in our value systems and our traditions, it's something we can then pass on and install into our children. And I think that's something both cultures are very strong in. And also, like, there's lots I've learned about Sai which aren't part of my culture and vice versa, and those are the things that you would embrace. So yeah.
So food is one of them. Food is important, and I think like you say, it's one of those things that you kind of build on together and introduce. And I think that's I think one of the first steps that you take, right? Like to introduce somebody to your culture is through food. And so, So Anna?
So I would agree with what Riz says. I think we're in a time now, if you look at broader like political issues, where we are questioning the norm. And so I think that when you're with someone who comes from a different culture, it makes you question everything you do. And sometimes he'll ask me like, well, why do you do this? And I'm like, I don't even know, but that's just what that's just what we do.
What you do.
And even, what's it? Sorry, DJ's like keeping.
There's this funny thing that.
What is that?
The movie.
Oh, we're not going to
We're not
spoil
going to
that
get
one. Yeah, but
Inside joke.
later, exactly. Sorry about that. So yeah, there are certain things that don't make that kind of are really odd. So for instance, sort of similar to what he was just doing, is we have in our culture, something that's passed down from generation to generation, is there are certain things that women shouldn't do which may impact her
fertility
and reproductive system. And so it's even things like certain chores and certain movements.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that my mum would be like, oh, make sure you don't do that, because that's, you might hurt yourself or upset your system or something like that.
That's
so
actually,
and again, it doesn't actually it may not make any sense, but actually I wouldn't have even thought that had I not been married to do it.
It's just something you would do.
Exactly. So I think to that end, it's definitely, like, what do I say, bettered me as a person. So I definitely think that, and echoing what Sai said, commonalities. So me being from a South Asian, DJ being from a West African background, respect to elders,
100%.
family, education. So actually, principally, on the external, I mean, talking about one of our lighter differences, in terms of vibes, we come from very different cultures. Very different cultures. But if you look at the core principles, I would say that I probably have more in common with you, even on a cultural basis, than I do with some people who come from my community.
No, and I think I can understand, because like you say, you can appreciate and respect the kind of the fundamental things that build up your core belief, right? So whether that's religion, whether that's certain traditions that you do. But I think you're right when you say you then tend to question the things that don't make sense. But then what that does, it creates kind of like I guess it creates like a link, like a bridge, right? So you're doing your thing, but it also allows you to question it. And you can see the logic in what you're doing, and suddenly you create, because sometimes I think, especially with a lot of South Asian, that can only speak for, there are some things that's just mad, and I don't really understand why you entirely do them, and like I don't get it, but you do it because that's what people kind of tell you to do, and so you're kind of expected to do it. And it's only when you, like you say, you step out and you're like, damn, like, that's a bit strange.
That's
actually, I'm
really
not entirely
strange,
too sure why we do this.
Yeah.
Why we do this. So like one of the things is, you know, for Pakistani people, I'm sure, like this whole idea of like, I don't know, like jinxing someone. Now the term is nazar, like you don't want to do that. So like, so if you see like a baby or whatever, you'd be like, mashallah, like alhamdulillah, make sure nothing happens to you. And so there'll be times like where a baby's crying or something like that's happening, and then oh, how do we take, because somebody's clearly jinxed this person, so they'll get like a shoe, they'll get like a shoe and be like, smack the shoe, like whoever, like, so take the like the whatever evil thing is running around right? Smack you on the floor.
Okay, so I thought where you were going to go is you smack the baby, like, come on.
I smack the shoe.
I thought it was like spit. So if I say
that,
like,
yeah.
if I say, oh look, you got amazing skin, I'll be like, not to jinx it, just spit on you, and you just spat on me.
That's everything mad aggressive though.
No, it is. And so like, so you'd like hit the shoe because you want to make sure that whatever, like, let's just come on this thing, or like the worst one is like chilies, like dried chilies, like they would do that and then dry the chilies, and so if then the smoke is out, then whatever's out. Right. So it's like mad things like that, and I'll be sitting there looking at like, gosh, like I actually believe this, you know, like I actually would do. I would subscribe to this, and now you step back and you're like, gosh, like how does a chili or a shoe help me to take away people's like evil thoughts about me? It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
I think that's a really big one, I think, and I think is a bit of a bold thing, I guess, but it's a bit generic, I think, to South Asian communities. Is we're very superstitious.
Yes,
very superstitious, and everything's about warding off the evil eye.
Exactly. Yeah. So
even like the bindi that we have, everyone's like, oh, it's so decorative, but actually where it stems from is, I think it used to be like a big black dot, and it was to ward off, so people won't look at you and think she's so beautiful.
I mean they do that still, like with babies. They'll put something at the back of the ear or something, just so that there's a sense of like, okay, protection over you, because you don't know what other people are thinking, you don't know what other people's views are towards you, and that's like that's really big, like in the same the South Asian community. And sometimes I look back at it now, and it takes a while though to come away from that and be like, okay, do you know what, like, so when I see a baby, I'm very aware that I know, for me, I necessarily won't think that, but I know that child's parent might be, and so you're a bit conscious of how to adore this child without creating like some kind of like, you know, weird superstitious danger.
And she the enemy kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's really interesting.
So mad. So like, cool. if we knew you like a few years before, you'd be throwing chili in my face. I'd be like, stuff.
Okay, like DJ says something nice to me before my face comes up in massive spots, I need to like go get myself some chili and burn them. Bye. Basically.
Oh man, it's cool.
Sam, what about you?
I think I'm gonna go with something that I really consider a massive positive about the Asian community. It's the way that you all support each other. So things like business and everyone can come together. I want to go and buy this house. Oh, you can be my accountant. Oh, you'll be my mortgage advisor.
Massive,
you'll be my estate agent. Okay,
and that's
let's
just
come
my
together.
family.
Exactly. But we will share the money. The money goes around where everyone can be sustained. That we as a community can support ourselves, and I find that inspiring. And for me, after seeing it close up, I've really gone out now and made a conscious effort to support black business in the same manner. Like if I can use you to support your business, that's the first thing that I'm going to do. Not that I have any issues with any other cultural business or person or idea, but I see the value in trying to build and cultivating the idea of building. And I find that so remarkable. It's so inspiring. Not to say that in the black community we don't understand the importance of it, but in the Asian community it's prevalent. And all I like. Well, when I say all, when they go to Zach's family, you can see how one sets up a shop. Okay, that's where we go for all our stuff. Okay, one's got these mortgage business. Okay, that's where we go. Okay, I want to go into properties. Okay, how can we help? And then that mentality isn't just in the nucleus family, it's the community. So if my neighbor does this, how can he help me? Or my neighbor's looking and saying, well, I can help you with that. And it's just reciprocal business. And I find that really, really brilliant. And that's something that I love about the community, amongst other things that everyone else has said. I think a lot can be learned from that. And on a personal level, I'm trying to learn.
I've kind of noticed that more in the, also in the Caribbean community as well. Quite a bit, like partner and like the support of each other, especially. But no doubt, I feel the same way about.
Yeah, even with like the partner, it's a way to.
Can you explain what that is?
So a partner would just be where, let's say that us as a group decide to set up a savings scheme where we all put in, let's say £100. Right. So we've got £600 monthly. And on 1 month, we may either decide to grow for it to grow to a certain size, then give that amount to one person, and then we just keep doing it till everyone has received the same amount.
We have something very similar in our community. Actually.
Same, we have the same thing as well. Yeah.
It was an initial system that was set up back in the day to help people, like with properties or things like that. It was a savings scheme because we didn't have access to those. Those types of facilities, so we created it amongst ourselves. So again, the idea is there, but I love the way that the Asian community works together. It's unified, like from top to bottom.
There's a lot to unpack, I think, when we can do it in another episode, because actually you just said that. And we talk about community and investing in each other and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, but don't compliment me too hard because you might be bringing money. So it's something that doesn't quite marry up with that. But it would be good to get into that in another episode.
It will. DJ, what about you?
Oh, man. I was going to say something really similar to Sam, actually. I'll just general generosity, I think. And even in my own culture, there's people are very generous, very hospitable, and that's a virtue amongst Nigerians and West Africans in general. But
sorry guys, I'll just go quickly move 1 second. Sorry.
No worries, man. Should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely like in the South Asian community, like things like around gold, for instance. Like that's been interesting. Like how people like and things and like if someone's if someone's doing something or a wedding or whatever, it's like who's gonna give what are you gonna give to that person, and then the idea is that you keep passing it down. There's a real sense, so coming off of what Sam was saying, I think that's just an extension of what you've just described, which is how do we support this community to build together. And like even like where I grew up and stuff, and I was quite exposed to the South Asian community anyway. But they're like, friends going like when they finished school, there were so many options. Like, I could go in my uncle's shop, or I can go and thingy start a business, or I can go up here to do. Like, because, or I can stay in school. Whereas, a lot of people, other people I knew didn't necessarily have those options. It just wasn't as unified. Like the family community wasn't as unified in quite the same way. The only other thing I'll mention alongside that is a bit like what other people have said as well. Like Anna and I share, so there's certain values that we share. So like culturally we're so similar. It's even though we're from different parts of the planet in terms of our heritage. But also I think this is also an extension of the beauty of living in London or living in a city where you're exposed to so many different cultures. So it makes you question yours. It makes you question like, why do we do this? This is a bit dumb. Like, why do we do that? And so in marriage, like there's stuff that she's pointed out to me that I've never really interrogated that deserves interrogating. But there's also other stuff in my community which is like, this is really lovely and stuff that you've experienced, and vice versa. Like I've seen stuff in your community that maybe go, that's really cool. Like just a really quick example, like for instance, you don't put books and money on the floor. Like because these are valuable. Knowledge is valuable, so we don't put it on the floor. And I'm like, it's small. And it's a bit different. I'm like, all right, but the principle of it is cool.
That's what
I'm interested by your response. Yours is like,
I know what's behind that.
You know what's behind that. Oh my gosh, we were at a Bible study.
Led by an older
Asian man. You know what these
he put the Bible on the floor.
No, he didn't even put the Bible on the floor. He rested it on his foot. And I was
sacrilege.
I was looking at him like, "Are you okay?"
Like, I can see you like jittering next to me.
I was. And finally, I just picked it up.
Put it back on my foot again. I just needed someone to put it. That was all.
I know.
But no, I take the point though. It was also being respectful to that. What you wondered if I was being disrespectful potentially in some way by having the book on my foot.
Well, I think
I guess you weren't aware.
You didn't know.
Initially, I wasn't aware.
You didn't do it intending to be disrespectful to anyone, and of course to your own religion.
Jesus,
it was still a shock nonetheless.
I remember that. Definitely, it's funny when you said it. I actually thought that was only specific to like religious books, but I didn't realize it was books in general. Yeah, because the first time, like when Riz ever saw I think even you have a perception that a Bible or Quran should like be above your head.
Place.
Yeah.
I can.
It was like the other day you had it on the floor. I'm like, what are you doing?
I said, I'm reading it. Like, I'm
but
in the comfort of my Lord and Savior. And I'm,
it's funny because I don't know if anyone else has this. Do you ever have like a shoe and you see it upside down, you just want to put it the right way up? There's something about it in our religion. I don't know where it comes from.
I don't know what it is. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's religion. I think it's just a cultural thing of like having a shoe upside down. I'm not going to lie.
It's just like an unlucky thing, isn't it?
So this is how deep it is. No, this is what somebody told me, and I cannot see a shoe unturned, right? But they say that if it's unturned, then your mum will pass away.
Wow.
I know. And so now it's stuck with me. Like, what do I do with that now? It's in my head. So like every single shoe that is unturned, I'm like, oh my god. So, but that's actually so now so I get a bit panicked when I see shoes upside down because I need the shoes to be straight. Okay, so that's why I walk around and just make sure the shoes are straight. But it's so weird. Like I don't know where that's come from. It's probably, of course, it's not true. Of course, it's not. But it just stays in your. It's just a trigger in your mind.
Often you have to go back and go, well, where did that even start?
Yeah.
Like, is it just like a mum just like, can you clean your shoes, please?
No, it wasn't even my mum. It wasn't even my mum.
What I'm saying is, as in like back where did the origin comes from?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes even we have that in the Christian faith as well. People are like, oh, God will bless you if your room's clean. It's just like,
really?
What? Are you okay? Are you alright? You know, I've heard that because when people will say cleanliness is next to godliness, but they translate that to mean. You know, and often,
but that's not biblical.
That's not biblical. But again, I think that sometimes it's these things are in place to help you to do something.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting it nicely, but I think sometimes it's also control.
100%.
So that's the whole shoe thing. So,
but going on and keeping things more positive, what I can clearly see, and this happens as well from languages, you learn a lot. From just being around another culture, like
definitely.
As I said, like I don't advise you to cuss me in Punjabi.
Punjabi's worse.
I know a fair few curse words. You know what I mean?
London will do that to you.
Exactly, which is a good thing to learn. Just like generally, just learning language as well, and even I'm always expressing like different.
You're pretty good though. You're pretty good. Yeah.
But I generally enjoy language in general, even though I can only speak one officially. But I enjoy it, and so like learning particular words. Or like, what's my favorite word at the moment? No, that's not the one.
Wow,
what's that? Favorite word? No. My favorite word right now. Lafis.
Oh yeah.
Lafis.
Word.
What does that mean?
Word.
It means word.
Word. I just like the way it sounds. Lafis. Oh, sorry. So how do I say it?
Lafas. Yeah.
Cool.
I think for me, like when we're looking at the kind of the positive, so you know, with there are stereotypes of kind of how, especially within South Asian communities, around kind of the role of men. And their kind of their contribution to the home, and and I don't think I've necessarily grown up in a very like girls do this, boys do this, but there is a sense of that I think kind of pretty much kind of wherever you go. So it's been really interesting being married to Sam and understanding the Caribbean culture in a bit more, I guess, in a broader sense. But they're very domesticated. Like Sam is incredibly domesticated, much more than I am, much to his despair, I'm sure. Because I think one of the things, I think for him it was very much, I think the stereotypical thing is, like women are more domesticated. And I'm just not that person. So I think for him it came as a surprise that I'm not that, I guess, particular about things. But in terms of the positive side of it is like, he's super good at just better at cleaning than I could ever be. He's very like, I remember, I think at one time he was cleaning a sink or something, or he was cleaning somewhere, and somebody must have said to him, something like it looks, what did he say? I can't even remember. Wait, I need to get the acronym right. But something like, it looks nice from afar, but it's far from nice, or something like that. And so that's kind of stuck with me. So I think that stuck with him because so it's like he will do things properly because from afar it may look nice, but it's far from nice. Actually, you've got to do it properly. So so that whole. I didn't realize actually how much
have a smudgy.
How good and how just very aware of kind of where we live, how we live and how it has to be and things like that. And I think sometimes, like I say, the Asian community sometimes can have not that I don't want to generalize, but there is this sense of like there are specific duties, whereas Sam could, and I've seen not just him, but just the whole I guess for men within the Caribbean culture, it's very much about being very domesticated and being helpful. Like it's not just the role of a woman to do that. You have to pay, like you contribute, and that's and as part of all of that. So so for me that's been a really positive. So when I sometimes tell my aunts about it, then oh my god, really? And I'm like, I can truly understand why that would be a positive from a cultural position for men, because stereotypically men are not domestic. But in the Caribbean culture, that is a big thing. Okay. Like it's a big thing. Like you will very rarely find a non-domestic Caribbean boy. Okay. That's a rarity. And if he can't, if he's not domestic, it's shame on you.
That's a thing.
Brother,
like you can't cook, bro, you can't clean. And it was a big thing to be supportive of your partner. It's vital. I was raised with the mentality, no woman wants to marry a man that can't cook. No woman wants to marry a man that can't clean. And it was crazy, that psychology. It was a psychology to develop the understanding that this is needed.
Yes.
And
to be a valuable partner.
And like I think in our marriage it's definitely helped 100%. I think it's brought balance because to be a non-domestic man or domesticated man and then just put all that Zach, you should just know this just be a nightmare. My mum would kill me anyway.
See, that's really interesting to hear, because I know for like us African men, it's not the same. No way. If you can see DJ's face. But I was brought up like that. So it makes me think, did my mum get that from Caribbean friends, like more so, or just generally? Because she always used to, I remember you're one of the first people I ever met who said that your mum used to say to you, no woman wants to marry a man who can't.
Never heard that in my life.
That's what I'm saying. I heard that too. But when I really deep it, I think no other African boy was hearing that. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, where did my mum get that from? That she wanted to, do that as well. And when I think about a lot of my other, no shade, my other African friends as well, like they're not as domesticated as me, or unless they learnt that a lot later in life, or they're not as domesticated as you, where you're like, I cook, I clean, I do this. Do
you know what? When I hear friends, especially, and it should show the viewers the diversity
100%.
in our cultures. That just because we're black doesn't mean that everything's just the same.
Not at all.
There are still nuances between us. But when I look at it, and even just on this topic of cultural differences that are positive, is something that I take a lot of pride in. Because I'm bringing something that if I could ever speak to Zach's dad, I'll be like, yeah, look, listen, this is what we're about.
Just quick, do you think he'll actually rate that though, in the sense of like, well, you're domesticated?
No, but I tell you what, it would win me some favor with Zach's mum.
That's for sure.
That's true.
For me,
that's true.
But I think my dad also. I think he would, because my dad cooks. He's not like he's very much like
he's hands-on.
He's a bit. I guess he bucks the trend.
But that's different. Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
So I think he probably would. I think whenever I like meet my aunts and I'm like, oh, so this is because I think they're very intrigued. Like, how does this work for you guys? And so when I tell them, like, he does all of this, and they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, like that's what he does. Like, that's not even, for me, it's now no longer become, it's a surprise, it's just the norm now. But for them, it's very much like, oh, really? That's what he contributes. And it's like, that's just that. And then they're like, oh, that's really good. And I'm like,
If you are in a Blasian relationship and one of the members is Caribbean, hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, man.
Is your partner domestic? Or
if not, I can send Sam round. I can send him round.
No, not to throw any shade on anyone, but it's just let's get some dialogue and interaction.
Real,
like, is this a common thing?
Yeah.
Like, I think it is, but am I wrong?
Are you just the anomaly?
Am I wrong?
Well, the thing is, but if you look at here, all three of you are domesticated.
Yeah, we are.
Actually, so as much as we're saying, oh, I'm the exceptions to the rule, maybe
it's more common.
Maybe it's a bit more complex.
And maybe we're just progressing a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a possible, that positive could possibly be one of the main attractions for Asian females for black men?
I don't think so. I don't.
It's that difference. Like, do you know what? That's different to what I'm used to.
I'm curious to hear what you guys say, but I think there's something about like the character trait of openness, like just being willing to do so. Oh, okay, maybe I've never clicked before, but I'll give that a go. Or I've never done this before. Or what's that? You don't put books on the floor. Okay, well, all right, maybe we could.
It's that compromise, isn't it? It's you understand the respect of one another's opinions, views. You're willing to take that on board. Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you girls think, though? To Sam's question more directly.
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think that would have. No.
She was like, "Yep, no."
I mean, it's great, but that's not that wouldn't have been like, but obviously, I married him because he's different from anybody that I've met. So maybe that in a broader sense that probably answers your question, but just not about cleaning.
I don't know. I think so it definitely wasn't in my game plan. I wasn't like, do you know what? I need someone to clean. Definitely wasn't.
Good
but
to know.
I don't know. And I'm not actually speaking for myself here because I don't agree with this. It's not. This isn't my experience. But I do speak to a lot of Asian women my age who grew up in an environment where they're sort of told, look, the man brings home the money, and then you do everything else. And they didn't want that to be their future. And so I think that perhaps that has inspired them to move outside of
the culture,
their race. And again, which is not, I'm not even condoning that actually, because again, that falls into the same problem of just generalizing. And again, here we've got 3 outstanding examples of people who don't follow the norm. But I suspect that there's probably more of a push than a pull into these sorts of relationships. Sometimes.
That's true. That's a very good point. Definitely.
Riz, what's your perspective on that?
I think
Sai's sitting there waiting for a compliment, isn't he?
He's like,
no, not even.
It was the way he positioned his head. He was like, "What about these? What about you?"
Not even. I'm expecting an insult instead. Not even in a bad way. I know.
Bants.
I already, I'm expecting banter.
I didn't really have a job description like before I was looking for you. If I did, it would be much different now. I think you were very self-sufficient. Like you didn't. I'm thinking broad scream. You didn't depend on someone emotionally. You were quite independent. I think your mum kind of was your influence in terms of life skills and cooking and all the rest of it. And you did traveling and you'd enjoyed your own space. All these kind of things like that attracted me to it. Did I think about, is he going to clean and cook and whatever? You did, to be honest.
But what I will say... Oh, go on, sorry. Actually, I'll let it finish.
No, go on, sorry.
I will say you upped my levels in terms of like cleaning and it's...
It still isn't there.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I don't think you'll ever reach the...
I mean, Riz has very high standards.
Yeah, very high standards.
No, but it was like... Sai, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a recent thing, but you forget. So he'll be cleaning the budgie's cage, and then I'll go into the second bathroom, which we don't really use, but uses it to clean the budgie. And like the sink will have all his toys with poo on it that's been left, and it's like a half-done job. So I find half-done jobs along the way, and it's like, and it was just like,
I think that's more of a recent problem, and so I will agree with you. I'm sorry, I just distracted with many different things, but I will say, you did. I remember even before we started dating, just by the fact that we lived together in halls of residence, just seeing the way you cleaned, I was like, I like that, Okay. I like that little bit of extra. I don't know, that extra pillow fluff. maybe. Do you know what was the biggest thing? The way I saw your bed was laid, and I know you're gonna cuss me and try to say you still don't know how to lay the bed properly, but the way I saw that your bed was laid in undergrad, I was like, I like
She's wifey material.
That's funny.
Come see the tips for us.
Yeah. How to make a bed.
I know. I think I need to come to you for tip. You're the one with the lavenders and the flowers and the
we've got a really nice setup here,
aromatherapy.
guys.
It's like a whole
We've got a setup, guys. Yeah, this is like a visual delight here.
Yeah.
Visual, sensual,
I feel like I'm all cut. Oh, okay. But anyway, I'm really calm when I come into this space.
It's a really nice place. We're super lucky to say.
Mad serene.
Thanks.
Go on, baby.
Yeah. So we've spoken. Oh, so sorry, Sam. Were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. No, I wanted to highlight just another positive difference that I really love. And it's dinner time in the Asian community. It's a real thing. It's time where we come together, separated from everything else, to eat and just commune. And maybe this may be just my personal family thing, or so Sundays is like family meal day. That's the day that would be designated to, okay, cool, we're going to granny's or we're going to mum's, and that we're going to sit and talk and eat and like chill. Whereas in the Asian community, that's every day. Right. Every day, 7:30. Yeah, look, you're going to be home for dinner. And when they eat, it's collective. It's a full experience, and I love that.
I think we spoke about it in the previous one. Because I found that a bit weird. That people don't do that. People don't do that. That you don't sit together and eat. But that's the one. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that we'd like to adopt in a sense of being, not to be like militant about it, but up until you can control your children to they can go out by themselves. Dinner time is
I think it's something that cultivates family.
100%.
You know what I mean? It builds that unit. And
so,
I love that.
Sorry. So, no. I was just going to say that's a very nice segue. So thank you very much. So we've spoken a lot about like the positives and the lighter side of it and the fun side of it. There is obviously, as we're all married, we at some stage are going to move over to kind of like the next stage when kids and just other things start to happen. And I just wonder how much and what we've learned from all the things that we've overcome so far, and how we're going to kind of take that forward, because there are going to be other things that are going to come up. And actually, and also when we have kids, how are we going to manage, or like, is there some kind of plan like to incorporate these cultural differences when we have children, when life kind of, I guess, progresses? What's I don't know, what's everybody's views on how we kind of take all the things that we've learned and kind of bring it forward, and then how do we adopt that with our children?
Well, first order, the first thing that needs to be done, because I know me, unfortunately, I only speak English, and my wife speaks Punjabi, English. She says on her LinkedIn she speaks Tree, but
you don't? Do you actually?
I did it a long time ago.
Back love it. Love it. When she was in Ghana.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I need to re-edit that bit. The thing is, he said to me this week, "Oh, Riz, oh my God, you've got this in your LinkedIn." I was like, "Oh my God, crap, I forgot." I need to look it up.
Go for it, sorry.
Unfortunately, I don't have a record of me speaking Tree on my social profiles. So, but even on that note, I think for me, I would only want my actual parents to speak Tree to our children. Because obviously I have to learn myself a bit furthermore. And I can speak, I can speak a little bit of Tree, which means small, basically, what I just said. But I do want our children to be bilingual. I want them to have the best of being able to speak Punjabi, having the best of being able to speak Tree or Ga. And English as well. And I know Riz is probably going to speak Punjabi to our children as well. Please don't let it be swear words. But yeah, it's going to probably be that as well. And so I think that's one thing that,
I guess, and that bridges that cultural difference, doesn't it? Like, and that's 100%. What you like. In as much as we can celebrate the differences, we want there to be some kind of like, especially 100%. For the next generation, there to be some kind of bridge that kind of be like, okay, you know what, these are part of us, and so therefore this is what this means.
I think just not to hog the mic, which I clearly am doing at the moment.
That's okay.
But like a sense of both identities as well. Like just being able to be respectively proud of being black and proud of being South Asian. Like
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the key, isn't it? That's what that would be the sweet spot. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Of like, yeah, this would be great. Yeah.
You know, often with like a lot of, especially Caucasian and black mixed race, like often that person might identify with just only, and that's also because of, the system as per se. Like often mixed race children are identified as black.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even may just have more of a pull towards that bit of their culture instead. But I think for me personally, it's important that our children have a great sense of their identity in both cultures.
I second that.
Yeah, echo.
I think in order for that to happen, I think we have to accept that our children are going to be raised completely differently to the way that we were raised, because we all came from two households with the same culture.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to have to accept that we're going to be required to do a lot more than what our parents had to do to educate our children on our cultures. And in that being the case, because we was having a discussion about this earlier, just in brief, and I think it's important that we become comfortable making or creating what may be small replicas of our community or cultural experiences to give our children exposure to something that we had every day. So there was a period where I lived at my nan. So every day it was my nan, there was my aunts, there was my uncles. We had the culture, the food, the music. My children may not necessarily get that intense experience, but it's my responsibility to give them a taste of that in any which way. So whether it's ensuring music's played at home, whether it's ensuring we watch shows that demonstrate the different aspects of our culture, taking them to as many family members as I can, and whatever I can to give them access to their culture, books. And I'm big on like reading, especially when it comes to your culture. And I want the same for the Pakistani side of my for our children. And I would like that they would be able to speak the language.
Yeah, 100%.
And they will learn patois, which will be much easier for them to learn in this society and culture.
That's true.
With phrases just intertwined with youth culture. But I have to. It's my responsibility to ensure that doesn't become their only understanding, but that they understand the language. And I'd love the same for the Pakistani side, for them to learn Urdu and to understand their community. And that's going to require the two of us coming together and strategizing and agreeing, okay, well, we may not be able to go to your parents' house, but maybe we go to your aunt's, or we invite as many South Asian friends round, birthday parties and all the rest. But I think it's going to take a time.
Definitely.
But I do think that with the right approach, we'll be successful. I don't think that we have to compromise our cultures in order to raise our children in this society. I don't want to. I think that's an important point.
I think I think that's definitely a concern for me, that this, because I'm so out of, like, I guess my family aren't around, and so therefore there is definitely like a concern when you have children, like how much of them will actually represent to who you are. But I think you're right, Simon, in the sense that you have to be very, very deliberate about it, like more than you probably ever would be about anything. So so I think it's interesting. I mean, for you guys, Anna and DJ, and obviously your families are around. I mean, how do you kind of like see things moving forward, because you have, I guess, the support structure, and you have both cultures feeding into both of you, and then anything that may come as a result of that. Like, how do you see things moving forward?
So I think in some ways, it is a lot easier for us, as you say, because we have the full presence of both of our families, and it's a much easier setup. I think for us, just to echo everything that has already been said, balance is key. I think that ensuring that they've got enough exposure to both cultures, and I guess, as you say, we sort of don't need to be deliberate about it, because by virtue of the fact that both of our families are around. I think something that that is running through my mind though is at some point you have to be okay with who they decide to become.
True. Yeah.
True.
And I think that sometimes we get so bogged down in trying to engineer the scenario that at some point you do have to let them become who they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think that what I would hate is for them to feel uncomfortable with one side of their heritage.
Yeah.
100%.
And so it was something that I actually already touched upon. Well, actually, in our first episode when we did our introductions, and I think something that's really key is that we are at peace with our union, and that we see the balance in our communities and in our cultures.
That's true.
And I think that they will. I would hope that they would feed off of that. And another really quick side note is, as much as we talk about the Asian or in our situation, the Sri Lankan and the Nigerian communities, it's also the what we're calling the Blasian community. I think they're going to be really pivotal as well in helping them, our children, to navigate through that.
Because they'll develop their own subculture.
Exactly.
Of the mixed
whatever that means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because actually we won't be like our kids because we're not mixed. So they're a separate. They're a sub kind of, which is so bizarre to you.
it, Mom.
But that's even so weird to even say out loud. Actually, they won't be. They won't be you singly or you. They will be something completely different that we've somehow engineered. Just don't know how to work it out just yet.
I can't wait to meet them. Actually,
We've got their own slang. It's all going on.
Yeah. What about you, DJ?
Oh man. So I agree with so much that's just been said. I think, and Anna and I have spoken about this a lot, and I think, we don't want them to be uncomfortable with any part of their culture. Want them to be exposed to everything. Also, and also being okay with whatever that means. Like you said, being okay with whatever that means for them. Like even for both of us, like we both love our heritage. There's parts that we engage in more than others, and that's okay. And for our children, I do think, we're saying for our children as well. God willing, we have children. But there's also, I think there is a space for being really intentional, like Sam said, because I guess what's different is that there'll be both, and you are equally both. And even though there may be parts of my heritage that I don't engage in as much, it is your heritage,
absolutely
too. So I want you to be exposed to all of it. So, I can't speak Yoruba, but I would like for them to know how to speak Tamil. I like for them to know how to speak Yoruba, or at least have that option available to them. So definitely lots of intention going on.
I think that's the key word.
I think intention is the key word, definitely. And also thinking now, isn't it? Like how we want our home to feel is how we start is how we mean to go on. That makes sense. So we don't have to wait until kids arrive.
And I think that's the key though, isn't it? It's cultivating that now. Like, what does it look like now? Because I think suddenly when you have kids, like, you've got a whole different issue to deal with, mate. Like I think it's one of those, because I think sometimes when it becomes a situation whereby it's I think having kids anyway, I'm sure anybody will say it's a complete whirlwind anyway, and so then to try and bring something completely new in, I just think it would just be too difficult. So I think you're right in a sense. It has to become very natural that you both come like from the same kind of view of how you want this to kind of move forward. So so I think you're right. It has to start.
I think
from
on
now.
that, one thing I was also just going to add, which I guess is kind of implied anyway, one of the ground rules we have: we never ever trash talk each other's cultures. Very important. And there's a lot that we can trash talk about each other's cultures. There's a laundry list there. But I think that we are very intentional with the way in which we speak.
That's good.
Because I think that children pick up on that stuff really quickly. And as much as, again, another sort of sub point here as well, as much as we talk about exposing to different communities, and I guess I'm specifically thinking about the Asian community, but on both sides, it's also about protecting them as well. Because the thing is, it's all very well going, go on, learn about the heritage, and then everyone else is looking at them, who's this, like, Asian kid or black kid? And so there's a lot to think about, but I think it's just about getting on the same page and being intentional.
And the fact that we're talking about it, I think that's really important. That we understand kind of like what kind of pitfalls that we may face. And you're right that there is, there's this thing that we want to really incorporate them into our culture, but actually the culture is also bigger than what we are, and how accepting are they of that? And what you don't want to do is in in your and for me, you know, having this conversation is thinking, because for me, I really want them to be Pakistani.
Yeah.
I want them to be Pakistani. But actually, like, also I need to protect them from that as well, because they may not be as accepting, and that's something that you've also got to be very open to. So yeah.
And for you, Zach, it's what does it mean when you say you want them to be Pakistani?
Yeah.
Because I think you have some notions in your head. It's just like, there's this club and you don't have the card to get in, and you need the card to get in.
I need my family.
What does
But
that
I
mean?
think that's what it is. For me, I very much identify being Pakistani with my family, with what encompasses that. And because I'm out of that, I just don't know how to get back in. I don't know how to do it by myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. So so it's something that this conversation has definitely made me think.
And that's understandable, by the way, because so much of Pakistani, and in fact all of our cultures, is based on family.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does it even mean? Yeah, what does it mean to be Nigerian?
Mike.
What does it mean to be? Well, thank you, Bo. What does it mean to be Nigerian? What does it mean to be black? What does that mean? Yeah. What does it mean to be Pakistani? Yeah, and one thing that comes to mind in terms of protecting something that's real in all our communities is that colorism. That is an issue for in all our communities. So it may be, and it's something that's a conversation that's, I think, had particularly like a lot of black spaces anyway, in terms of debunking this and like kind of unpicking the nonsense that is colorism. But particularly where we know it's across the board, it's an issue across the board in black and Asian spaces. That's something definitely to be intentional about.
Yeah, I agree.
Your skin is gorgeous.
Exactly.
Is there any things that we already do? Like, obviously you guys have said something already, which is very, very profound and thought provoking. In we do not trash talk each other's cultures. Yeah. Like, is there other things that we're being intentional about right now in our households, or, you know, obviously they've said. DJ and Anna have said something. Sam.
Yeah, I try.
Even before the children are here.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I need to be submerged into the Asian culture through experience, not just food but the culture. So the other day, a few weeks now, I organised for us to go to an Asian extravaganza, and basically
I love it that he calls it extravaganza.
I don't know what you call it.
What does that even mean?
That's my Western.
Was it extravagant?
It was.
It was. Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good.
So what is it? I still don't actually know what
so basically it's just like, it's like a Bhangra show, I guess you could say. Like, it was in a drive-in cinema,
show.
Bollywood.
Okay.
It was Bollywood, but a lot of it was mainly based around Bhangra. But it was really good. Like, it was a drive-in, and like you just don't, and it was just I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, and it was through my I've been like, because I recently joined Instagram. So I know. I've dived into the deep end. Others are like, what? Instagram? That's just the basics.
Just loads of Spurs pictures.
Yeah. So I was on there, and what I've been trying to do is just connect with different people from the Asian community who can expose me to information and experiences. Cool. And I came across this event, and the whole point of it was, number one, for Zach to have something that she can celebrate, and something that I'm celebrating with her that is solely to do with her and her community, so that I can understand, okay, this is the clothes, this is the music, this is the way you celebrate. Okay, I need to understand. I need more of this because I don't get it.
I like that.
As really cool. When I say I don't get it, not that I don't understand, I just don't have access.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful opportunity, and I'm up for just diving in. I like if we are around like her cousins and like they come round to visit, I will take lessons. Like they'll try and teach me words and phrases, and I love that because I don't want to be ignorant of these things, and I take it as a joint collective responsibility to teach. Yeah, so it's not my job's just to teach about the Caribbean. My job's to encourage and learn with my child about the South Asian aspect. So as they're learning, I'm going to be learning. But I want to at least have something that foundational that I can bring. So yeah, I think it's important for both of us. Zach gets a lot of exposure to my culture because we have access. So Blasian community, if you have any events, hit us up. I will come.
I think we should do one.
I promise you.
I
will come.
We need to do it because
we will. I feel so. Yeah,
when the time will come.
What about you, Riz? I mean, what are your kind of like? Do you have like a plan of action, or
what you're doing now intentionally?
I actually don't know.
That's a hard question, though. To be fair, because we don't always, I guess, think about it. But I mean,
I don't think I do intentionally, but I think
Can't say food.
No, I don't know.
I think, do you know what it is? What's interesting about this conversation, there's a lot of things that have come out from here that is going to make us think a bit more.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do this?
I think maybe it's more the saving aspect of property and seeing other streams of income. Is that
culture,
no,
though?
but I
That's
think that
family.
Yeah, I guess it's.
I don't know if that's culture.
No, but I'm saying, I guess it's legacy. It helps with
Yeah.
legacy. But I'm saying like intentional things you may do that and I'm sorry, babe, I'm not trying to shoot you down or anything.
Intentional, maybe I say
Before children come, like that you're doing to, I guess, increase your... exactly. Prepare ourselves. Yeah, exactly.
I think, I don't know. Yeah.
I've got something that I'm trying to do, and I kind of want to put this out to our audience as well to hit me up. And if I'm not looking hard enough, then my apologies. But like, I want more. So we like collecting bits of art and illustrations and etc. And sometimes I draw things of, orientated around the South Asian culture as well. But it's really important to me to buy artworks from the Black community and the South Asian community. So I find it very easy to find artworks from the Black community,
but not the
but South Asian community. If you're there, you're out there. Yeah,
Please,
like, hit us up. Like, I want to buy some amazing artwork. All right, and don't get me wrong. There's some stuff I see that I just don't like. That doesn't appeal to me. But I really want to.
There's got to be a broader sense, right?
Yeah.
We were doing like a gallery wall in our flat. And I really, really, really just wanted an amazing piece that screams South Asian culture. That's not made by me, but it's made by like
another South Asian
artist. And so like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that.
Maybe we've got some budding artists and you can commission it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, please. we would love to it'd be great to like promote some like really good work that we like if anyone's got
100%.
So please hit us up on that.
Lovely. That was a super insightful conversation, guys. Thank you so much. Like I say, I've learned a lot from this, and I think it's definitely for us to kind of like take away and pick up. I'm going to leave it to you, Sam, to do the tagline because I'm not really good at it.
Okay, guys, if
He does it so
you
well.
like
Go on, Sam.
if you like the content, if you want to join our circle and go on this journey with us, please hit the like, click subscribe and share the content because we want our community to grow, man. So
and what should they do for that bell?
And if you want to be notified whenever we release, click the bell.
That's the bell.
Ping.
Or don't remember, our community is not only going to be watching us on YouTube.
Yes.
They
That's
probably
it.
will be
True.
listening to
We've got
us
the
on
podcast.
Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple Music,
That's it.
all of those. So
Basically, we want to get everywhere. So
That's it.
help us make that happen.
But let's share because we want our community to grow.
Yeah.
And if this means as much to you as it does to us, come join us and share, like, subscribe, and let's build our community.
Definitely,
because we want this message. We want this to become a normal thing.
Yeah.
And the only way we can do that is by sharing and promoting our little bubble of a culture and community.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
And just to add as well, so if whoever you're listening to on podcasts, I think nearly all platforms you can follow or subscribe.
Yeah.
Man, so you can follow the feed. But
we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Lovely.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.